of the M11 reaches northward from London for 55 miles through the countryside of Hertfordshire and Cambridgeshire. 21 miles into its journey, it passes the historic market town of Bishop Stortford, home to just over 40,000 souls, and Gailie Pollock of Contexture Theatre. This is the story not of the M11, but simply M11, the title of a powerful new black comedy written by Gailie Pollock, artistic director of Contexture. The play casts a light on the challenging topic of mental health through the eyes of a patient. We join the story at a meeting of a writing group led by Gailie at her home in Stortford, less than 3 weeks from the play's first performance and with the script not yet complete. For Gailie, the writing group is a valuable sounding board whilst writing the play.
Gailie Pollock, and I'm the artistic director of Contexture Theatre. I'm writing a play at the moment called M11. I've got a very short period of time in which to get it together, and I've still got 25 minutes left to write. I run a writing festival every year, right here, right now, and so I was directing the winner of last year's competition last month. It just seems to be one project after another that seems to get in the way. I encourage the writers to come to my playwriting classes so that I can allow them to read out their work. Because I've got such a good relationship with these writers now, and I've given them lots of advice over the past 3-4 years. So yes, it was great getting their feedback, because it allows them to sort of express what they think works and what they think doesn't work, which will help them with their work as well. And in rehearsal, in the R&D, a lot of things will come to light that in actual fact need changing as well. If the play is finished, if it's in a good enough state, then you'd want to take it to somewhere like Edinburgh and see how it fares there, and see what the audience reaction is there. And see whether or not it is in a fit enough state to possibly tour regional theatres. I've cast a professional actor who I've worked with several times before, who is an incredibly strong actor, who I think will be, who was brilliant in the 15-minute version. And so the two of us will be starting to rehearse it on Saturday.
With just hours to go before M11's first preview performance, I rejoin Gailie at the Hertford Theatre for final rehearsals with her co-star Tom Grace.
We first worked together on a production of Journey's End. Then I returned to work with them at Right Here, Right Now. M11 is dealing with something that's really close to my heart. It's dealing with the fear and the anxiety that a lot of people feel when admitting that they are struggling and admitting that they have mental health issues. It presents someone who is on the verge of quite a serious mental breakdown, and voices a lot of those anxieties that people feel, i.e., if I ask for help, suddenly I'm going to be labelled. Suddenly I'm a liability. Suddenly I'm a danger to myself, but also to other people. And yeah, I think it stops a lot of people from asking for help. The utility of this play drew me because it's dealing with something very pressing that is an issue right now. That and the writing's really great. And it's really lovely to just spend time grilling each other. And I get to act with Gailie, which is great because she's a great actor. I've never worked with her as an actor before. And so we've sort of been developing the script as we've been rehearsing. So we didn't start with a script. We started with a few scenes and a few moments from the play. I've added a few ideas and things, but Gailie has been writing as we've been going. So it's been really great to shape the story and shape the scenes as we go, to have actually a say. It's not often, as an actor, I get to shape where a character goes. Quite often when you get into a rehearsal room, the line, "Oh, I don't think my character would say that," is sacrilege. You can't say that. The challenge in this was to put that aside for these rehearsals. We'll get to the end of a scene and Gailie will quite quickly switch into writer mode and start picking apart the writing and picking apart the scene from a writer's point of view. Gailie's great because she's been so open to suggestions. I can imagine a lot of writers, if they were to also be in their production as well, being quite defensive. But Gailie's been fantastic. We'll get to the end of a scene and I'll say, that part didn't feel quite right. That part didn't quite flow into the next part. That bit's odd with this, or the tenses aren't quite right. And Gailie's been totally open to that, and within seconds has rewritten the scene to accommodate how I was feeling during that run, which is really great to see the script morph in real time as we're rehearsing. Has been really fun and a bit of a power trip.
With research and development, you have a process where you write the play, but it's not necessarily finished, and then you, the director, and Tom rehearse it, see what works, what doesn't work, and then continue to write it. And especially if they make a good suggestion, you scribble it down. We've literally only had 5 days to rehearse this because I only finished writing it 5 days ago. So we haven't had a chance to learn it, but that doesn't matter because I hopefully give the audience a sense as to what the piece would be like when it's finished. Funny enough, I was a bit more nervous this afternoon because it suddenly dawned on me that this is my first piece of writing, and I'd never been judged on my writing before, and so part of me is thinking, what on earth are you doing? So there's a couple of reasons that I did this. The first reason was that I run playwriting classes, and here's me telling playwrights how to do it. And I thought I'd better put my money where my mouth is and write a play myself so that I could put all the things I've been teaching them into practice. I think, as a director, I was able to do these classes because I could see what would happen structurally, what worked. There's a lot of issues in it that I know a lot about, and so I wanted to discuss them. The initial draft of the script, it was literally a series of vignettes. It was literally a case of wanted to write this stuff that I wanted to include in a storyline, and therefore trying to put a storyline together was the organic process that came out of rehearsal. By talking to people, all of a sudden, it just starts to become like dialogue. I find it easy to identify with the character because of the issues that are involved in the story. It'll be interesting to see whether or not that story resonates with the audience. I mean, that's essentially what's hopefully going to come out of this. It appeals to me very much. It's black comedy, so it's obviously has a lot of comedy in it, but it also has some very serious messages in it, and that's what I like when I go to the theatre. Just in the way you go to a funeral, there are always people laughing. Just in the way that there are always people crying. There's always balance, and so that's for me what good theatre is.
So, what were you doing?
I went for a walk.
Down the M11.
Yes.
Down the middle of the M11.
So?
Getting out of your car and having strolled down the M11 isn't the type of breakdown the AA come across very often.
I've had a bad day.
It is now almost 2 months since the review performances of M11, and with winter almost upon us, I visit Gailie once more at her home in Bishop Stortford.
The play went down well at Hertford. It was very useful to get the feedback from the audience because they could tell us what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it, and what they understood about it and what they didn't understand about it. So yeah, there seemed to be a lot of positive feedback. In terms of putting out my own work, I didn't actually feel that it was any different. I'm just as much under scrutiny as an actor or a director. So yeah, I didn't find it that challenging putting myself out there as a writer as well, because you're going to get judged regardless of what your role is within the theatre company or what project you're doing. I've learnt from the play that I need to do a lot more writing, reconfiguring it, restructuring it to take it to the next stage, because you can never write a play in one go. It always needs another draft and another draft to just keep improving it. What's been useful to me in terms of what I've learned about it is that it does seem to be that I can write a play. I just need to make sure that it's better. Well, they always say write about what you know when you're starting off as a writer, and I think that's what I wanted to do. Was basically, if you know, as this was going to be my first play, to try and write about something that was very close to home, and also I felt that I needed to write it for me. It's a good way to sort of exercise your demons, as it were. Yeah, I think it was a very cathartic experience for me. Writing about, you know, it's something I've wanted to write about, and I think I'll want to continue to write about different aspects of my life experiences, as it were. In order to take M11 to the next stage, I need to look at it again to check that it's believable, credible, and also understandable. So yeah, that's what I need to do.
The future of M11 is not certain. Much like its story so far, and as the play's name suggests, M11 is very much both a story and a journey. We have followed it for just a brief spell from outline script through rehearsals and to its first preview performance. Interwoven is Gailie's own journey of her first exposure as a playwright. The play itself is still not fully formed and honed, still very much at a midpoint on its own trajectory. And yet it delivers a powerful message in a sharp and darkly comic way about a character at a decisive junction in the process of dealing with serious mental health issues. Will M11 head north along its namesake to the Edinburgh Festival? Only time will tell.